Welcome to part 5 of the Game Maker game build of the UFO game that is our asteroid style game. We're going to go ahead and continue on. We left off with our large meteor finally looking pretty good. We're going to go to OBJ Photon. And what we need to do is we need to create 3 new events using the same programming, one for the medium meteor, one for the small. The easiest way to accomplish this is right-click and duplicate the event, collision, and we're going to collide with the medium meteor. Now, because we changed our programming to be either with self or other, and we don't have a specific item mentioned, we actually don't have to change any of our programming. We're going to do that again, right-click, duplicate event, collision, small meteor, click OK. We'll go ahead and save that, Command S, and then we test. All the meteors should be able to be blown up. So that seems to be working pretty good. We do want to start some scoring though. We want to be able to score our game and keep track of points. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll go back into OBJ Photon and we will select the existing large meteor collision. And we're going to go to score and we're going to set score, drag that down to the bottom below the block. And we're going to set our new score to 5. So every time we hit a large meteor, we'll score 5 points. We'll make that relative and click OK. And now we want to do the same thing for the medium and the small meteor. We're going to make the medium meteor 10 points, relative, and we'll make the small meteor 20 points. That's also relative. Click OK. OK again, save. Let's see if we get points out of this now. So there's 10 points, 15. Very good. Okay, you should be getting 70 points if you had programmed that right. And now we can go ahead and move on. Well, now that we have points, we want to be able to have lives. If we happen to collide with the meteor, the UFO should explode, so should the meteor. But we don't want to die with the first meteor we hit. We want to go ahead and add lives. So we're going to add 3 lives to this. We're going to start by clicking on OBJ UFO. We're going to add an event, and that'll be create. We go to score tab. We're going to drag in the score captions. And we want to make sure that we show lives as well. So I'm going to click on show lives, show. And we're still not going to show health. We're not dealing with health, just lives. So we're going to show the score and lives and hit OK. And now we're going to drag the set lives into our actions panel. And we're going to set the lives to 3. And this will not be relative because we're actually just setting the number of lives we're going to have. So now we're going to be able to see the lives and we've set the starting point to 3. Now we need to go to the UFO object properties box and we're going to add events again. This time we're going to add a collision and we're going to add large meteor. We're going to drag set lives and make it -1 and relative. Click OK. We also need to add a sound. So we're going to grab the sound and this is going to be the explosion. And OK. And now we need to grab destroy instance, and it's going to be other because remember the UFO is not exploding, but the meteor is, so we'll click other. OK. And because we're running into it and not shooting it, we don't get any points for this. So we don't add any points. Now we need to apply that to the other meteors. So we're going to right click on that collision. We're going to duplicate the event, collision with the medium-sized meteor, and right-click again and duplicate the event, collision with the small meteor. Click OK, and now let's go ahead and do a save and test. We need to run into it. Okay, we're now down to 0 lives. -1, -2 lives. We still need to add an explosion. We left out our explosion, so let's put that in there as well. So we go in there, we're just going to add an explosion. So if we go to main 1, add instance, and create an explosion, relative. And we're going to drag that right before it destroys the entrance. So we play the sound, show the explosion, destroy instance. Let's do the same thing here. And one more time with the small meteor. Relative. Okay, and we'll save that. Command S. Let's test it. Okay, so now it's exploding when we hit. Okay, now we need to set a high score table and also have the game end when we collide with 3 meteors. In order to do that, we're going to go back out to OBJ UFO. We're going to click on the collision with the large meteor. We're going to go ahead and grab the start block. And within the start block, go to score, and we want to test lives. If lives equals 0 and it's equal to 0, then something's going to happen. If lives equals 0, we want to show our high score. So let's drag high score down there. And we can actually change colors. We're going to leave things as is right now, but we can change things. We can also change font. In fact, let's make the font a little bigger. Let's go to a 12-point font, and we'll click OK to that. And then we want to end the game. So if we go to main 2, end game, drag that down there. And last but not least, go back to control. We'll end the block. And now there's one slight problem with this. If you notice, we start the block and we check the lives. The block will do whatever happens after we do a test. So we actually are going to need to move test lives ahead of the block. So all of these things happen, then we test to see if our lives equal to 0. If they do, then we'll play this block. Let's go ahead and copy this entire section. We're going to copy the test and what happens after the test is 0. Do a Control-C to copy. We could also right-click and do a click on copy, which is Control-C. And we're going to copy this into the other 2 meteors. So let's go with that medium meteor, and we will paste. And let's go with the small meteor, and paste. Let's click OK, and Command S, and test. Okay, there's 2 lives, 1 life. Let's blow it. Crash into 1. Cool. Now we have an opportunity to put in our high score. And there we go. And escape to close. Well, now that we know that our scoring is working and everything else is happening quite well, let's go ahead and add a little bit of a challenge to this. And the challenge we're going to do is we're going to have our meteors move. Let's go ahead and click on our large meteor. And the 2 things we want to do, 1 is we want our meteors to move, and 2, we want our meteors to wrap. We're going to start by adding an event, create. We're going to pull in a move, and we're going to have our meteor randomly go in one of those directions. Apply to self, and let's have our large meteor travel at a speed of 6. And now we want it to wrap, so we need to add an event, other, outside room. We'll drag the wrap in, and that will be both directions. Click OK. And we need to do that through all 3 meteors. Add events, create. This one will be a speed of 10, and then other, outside room, wrap, both directions, and finally the small meteor. Small meteor will be a speed of 15, and other, outside room, wrap. Okay, let's go ahead and save this, Command S, and we'll go ahead and give that a test. Now it's getting a lot trickier here. So that's where we're at so far. We have just a couple of more things we want to do. We'll save it for the next episode. Until next time.